welcome to another episode of A Talk with Ify. Today will be the part one of a two-part series, Making Mistakes. What is a mistake? A mistake one can refer to as a wrong action, a wrong belief, or even a wrong judgment about something. Or I can also say a mistake is a misunderstanding. Maybe somebody tells you something, but you understand it in another way. What causes us to make mistakes? We can make mistake from wrong calculations, wrong planning when we do not plan well, carelessness, or even oversight can cause us to make mistakes. And there are small mistakes, there are big mistakes, there are good mistakes, there are bad mistakes. What do I mean by that? What I mean small mistakes and big mistakes are, for example, you're writing something with a pencil and you made a mistake. Instead of to write she, you wrote E. You can easily put an S in the front and it's corrected, or even if you don't correct it immediately, it's not so grievous. At the same time, you can make a very big mistake when you're trying to transfer 10,000 euros or the 1,000 euros or the naira or the dollars to somebody, and you mistakenly added one more zero. That is a grievous mistake. You can also make a small mistake when you're cooking and you put a little bit more salt. That's a small mistake. But you can make a grievous mistake when you are driving in your car and for a split second you looked at your smartphone and you had a very bad accident, that someone died or someone lost their legs. That is a grievous mistake. And I also said sometimes, even many times, even when the mistake is grievous, we learn. For example, the grievous mistake of you looking at your handy when you are driving, you can learn from it. Someone else can learn from it. Means when I'm driving, I don't look at my phone. You understand? So you always learn from mistakes. Mistakes happen. Then what? I say then life should go on, but not as usual. Not as usual. You need to learn from that mistake. One, you need to admit that mistake. One of the worst things you can do is to hide your mistake. If you hide your mistake, it can follow you your whole life. And I'm telling you, that's a big burden to carry. Two, admit, I have made this mistake. Admit to your mistakes. And you are in the right path to learning. Then don't repeat the mistake, because when you repeat the mistake, that means you have not learned from it. Like I also said, mistakes can be good in the sense that it shows you a way that something should not be done. For example, let's put it this way, that you boiled an egg for 2 minutes and you brought it down. You opened it, you now saw that it was not well cooked, and you say, oh, I made a mistake, I should have cooked it longer. Now you have learned that when you cook an egg for 2 minutes, it doesn't get done, doesn't get hard cooked. So maybe tomorrow you find yourself working in an hotel and someone tells you they want a half-cooked egg or an egg that is not well cooked. So you know already that you can cook it for 2 minutes and it's perfect. So many times, we learn new things from the mistakes we make, but we need to be very careful. It's just like taking risks. You take calculated risks. You don't make stupid mistakes. You don't make mistakes purposely, but you don't sit down in the place whereby you make the mistake. You do not allow these mistakes to define us. That is what we'll do most of the time. When we make these mistakes, we put it as a signboard on our head and we make it to define us. And mistakes should not define who we are. I'll be telling us the 10 things we can learn about our mistakes. Number one, Our mistake can serve as a warning for us, to warn us that something is wrong or that something went wrong. You know, that is number one. Number two, our mistakes reminds us that we are human. This goes to, for example, we as parents, when our children, maybe they break something, we shout and scream or whatever. But when we find ourselves making that same mistake, it makes us to know that, yeah, you can also make that mistake. It makes you human, makes you calm down. You understand? Number three, mistake slows us down. Sometimes we are so fast, we want to do a lot of things at the same time, but when we now make a mistake, it slows us down. Number four, mistakes bring out the creativity in us. Maybe we did something in a particular way, it didn't work out, or we made a mistake in that thing. It makes us now to find another way to make it work. So we'll go into ourselves, we'll start being creative. That's one of the things that mistakes do for us. Number five, mistake points us to something new, something different. You understand? For example, you were supposed to add blue with red to get yellow. You made a mistake to add blue with green, you got a new color. So yes, you made a mistake, you did not follow the instructions given, but at the same time, you found out something new, something different. So, and it's good to learn from that. Number six, mistakes teaches us a lot about others. Maybe when they make mistakes, or that when we make mistakes, how they react to us. You know, some people, when they make mistake, you see the way they react. There's a saying that we are good lawyers for our own mistakes, but very bad judge for the mistakes of we judge other people's mistakes, but we are lawyers to our own mistakes. So when we make mistakes, we understand people more. Their true character comes out. So it's good to look at when you're making your next mistake, look out for the reaction of people to see how they react. Number seven, mistakes inform us about our value. What is my value? What is your value? What do you value? Some people, they make mistakes, they hide them. Some people, they make mistakes, they admit it. So it's your value that will tell you how you are going to react in that mistake. So sometimes you can be surprised, oh, I made a mistake and I confessed it and I admitted it. Then you are proud of yourself. Then you say, oh yes, I'm morally good or something like that. So it brings out, you know more about yourself when you make mistakes. Then number eight, mistakes help us to be very understanding. For example, like I said about a child breaking something, apart from the fact that the health and the parents, they know that they are human, they become also understanding. They know it is possible for somebody to miscalculate and break the plate or that break the bottle or something. So mistakes makes us to be understanding to others. Number nine, mistake can suggest new options to take. New options, that's what mistakes does. And number 10, mistakes help us to see our shortcomings. For example, mistakes can make us to see that we are not patient enough. Mistakes can make us to see that we don't calculate well. Mistakes can help us to see where we are in a hurry. Those are the kind of some of the things that mistakes help us. Those are the 10 things that we can learn from our mistakes. I would say, try never to make mistakes. But I'll also say, never be afraid to make mistakes. Never. Because if you don't want to make mistakes, then you are inactive. Then you have to just stay one place. That means you will not move. That means you will not achieve anything. Someone said that you find success in a pile of mistakes. Mistakes come. It is many times unavoidable. So try not to make mistakes, but don't be afraid to make mistakes because you are attempting something. Let me tell people a story. When I was younger, my elder ones, they went to boarding school. So I was the eldest, the oldest in the house at that time. So I had to do most of the kitchen work and things like that. So there was this particular day, And I'm a bit so clumsy, you know. I was very, very clumsy, and I broke something. And my mother was very angry with me because that was not the first time. I was always breaking something, you know. So she shouted at me, "What's wrong with you?" and things like that. And oh, my father came and said, "Oh, leave this girl alone. She's breaking the plate because she's the one washing it. If she was not washing the plate, she will not break it, you know." And but that is life, really. When you attempt to do something, you make mistake. But if you don't attempt at all, you achieve nothing. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. The man that invented the bulb, I don't know how many times they said he made a mistake. He attempted it until he got it right. But the point was this: he was not making the same mistake 100 times or 1,000 times. He was making different mistakes. That if you look at the other way, he was finding thousands of ways that you could not get light through a bulb. You understand? So you can see it positive like that. But he was making mistake. He didn't stop there. He saw it. Oh, I can't get what I need through this way. I tried this way. So the problem is, don't repeat the same mistake you make. You are permitted. You have a second chance to make another mistake, but not the same mistake. You know. So we have to be careful the kind of mistakes we make. Before I close, I want to just say mistakes are a part of life, but you just have to try not to do the kind of mistake that touches. So please try to be careful, but don't be afraid to leave. Next week, we're having part 2. We're talking about the mistakes people make, we're talking about some quotes, and I want to know your opinion, whether these quotes, whether you agree to these quotes or not. That's all with the talk with Ify today. Till next time, keep it simple. Bye.